huh? Surely.
Yeah, I know, right? We are live. It's good to
We're
see you,
live, are we?
Piercy. Yep.
Great. Happy New Year, everyone.
Wow, unbelievable.
It's good to see. It's definitely clear to see who's had the more relaxing break because you just look $1,000,000, DJK. You look
You look good.
$1,000,000 straight off the golf course.
Well, not today, and I've got a story about that.
Oh dear.
About injuries.
Oh no. Oh well, let's do that when we record because that is
Yes.
definitely a tale worth telling.
It is,
That
really.
is a tale worth telling.
It is.
Gosh, that must have crushed you. All right. Well, because we haven't spoken much over the break and we miss each other, should we just do all of our lovey soppies on the recording?
Yeah, why don't we? We've got Deb Brooks there, Helen Pocock, both saying hi. Lovely to see you both.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I was meant to see Helen Pocock in a couple of weeks.
What do you mean you were meant? Have you pulled the pin?
Well, she's unable to. Helen did for very.
It's hard to get a meeting with Piercy. How do you pull the pin?
No, that's okay. More, but that's okay, Helen. We look forward to seeing you in the flesh.
Yeah.
In the flesh.
Yeah. That's the best way, anyway.
All right. Yeah. It's hard to get a meeting with Piercy. Oh yeah, it's always you got it on your phone too, don't you? This whole Facebook Live thing is a bit of a.
It's on my phone.
Turn it on and turn it down.
That now means that I can give us lots of love and
see some comments.
Yeah. Well,
we're back, baby.
Yeah.
We're back. All right. Well, you want to hit record? I'll hit record as well.
You hit record because I don't.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh yeah. It says it's going. It says it's not going to work, but it is going.
I can record, I think.
Yeah, just record just to be safe. That'd be great. All right.
When do you record these days?
I think it does. It doesn't just do it automatically.
Does it?
Yeah, it's fine. It's in Facebook as well. I can get it either way, and it says mine's recording. We're
great.
We're good.
Great, good.
All right then. Here we go, folks. First one live together in 2020. In 3, 2, and 1. Hello and welcome to 100 Not Out, a weekly show dedicated to helping you master the art of aging well. Marcus Piercy with you for episode 409, and I could not do it if it wasn't for my brother from another mother. I have missed him so much. He's been growing pectoral muscles. He's been ripping groin muscles. He's been ripping muscles off the bone. It's been an intense summer break for Damien John Christoph. DJK, welcome to 100 Not Out.
MDP, so great to be back and so great to be refreshed. 2021, it's going to be different. 2020, I can't wait. It starts with the borders opening again.
You decided to just tear a few muscles during your rest time, hey?
Well, mate, yeah, it was. I had a little rest. I'll share with everybody. I went down to Phillip Island. As we know, we discussed this. And we spoke about the traffic being horrendous crossing the bridge, which it actually wasn't, by the way. It was actually really easy. But that's what happens when you predict stuff. Sometimes you get things wrong. But it was beautiful, except the weather. Summer started today, and I think it might end today in Melbourne. And we didn't really get good weather down there. But what I loved was just the ability to break away, like just to get out of the normal. But it also got me thinking about what it is that we've got to do to stay well, because I went surfing, Piercy.
Tell the story.
I'm not a good surfer. That's where I'll begin the story. I'm no Kale Broccoli, I have to tell you. I got my 70-litre board and I headed out to the 70 litres is a lot, but I worked out based on a formula that Kale Brock put up on Instagram or something about the size of the board that I would need based on the amount of weight that I carry versus what foam can hold. And so it works out to be 70 litres. Apparently that's heaps, right? And Ravi reckons that's too much. Muzza reckons it's too much. Kale just laughs. So anyway, I got my 70-litre board, headed out to Smith's Beach, paddled out, jumped up, fell down, got up again, just like the song by Chumbawamba, and I had a great time. Like, I really, really enjoyed it, got up and down, and surfed a lot, but had sore muscles, really sore muscles. And I pride myself on being reasonably fit and reasonably strong, and I tell the story about how I used to be such a great swimmer when I was at high school, but high school was, more than
20 odd years ago.
Oh, more than that. 30 years ago for me, mate. 30 years ago, I was the high school swimming captain. So there's a few skills lost there. But I was sore. So I thought, well, I've got to do better than that. And hence the reason why you and I had a discussion and we initiated a challenge, which I must say has been adopted by a large number of people. And beyond that, it's now been adopted as a name. So I heard today listening to a podcast, it's the 100 not out before the dip 60 push-up challenge.
Gee whiz.
Those boys.
They've taken it and run with it.
How about that? Anyway.
Well, let's provide a bit of context here because you, after the end of last year, and the theme of today's episode is really around you don't have to train for a marathon. You see, you can if you want to. You don't have to train for a triathlon. You can if you want to.
Yes.
And you don't have to train to enter the CrossFit game. You can if you want to.
Yes.
But Damo decided last year, and he said it after a recording, I can't remember if it was in our Facebook Live at 100 Not Out on Facebook, if you're not there already, that he was going to do 60 push-ups a day. And I said, that's fantastic. I've been doing sets of 30. I'd love to do that as well. And we both decided to get some friends on board, and we just created a little Facebook group, and we check in with 10 or 12 others to do it. And I think we've all loved it just for that accountability. None of us are really massive on Facebook or social media, so I don't, I'm not pinging every time those messages come through. I check in at the end of the day and see the chat that's been had, because it'd be going off. But the thing is that we've got this great level of accountability where people are checking in every day, little video here or there of the push-ups and the rest, and it's a really good message for everyone listening this year. Is what is your goal for movement? Is it what are you doing to water the garden of your body every day? Now, watering the garden is one of those wonderful things that is just a small habit done regularly. Mm-hmm. Again, you can run 10Ks every day if you want to, but there are other people listening or watching to this going, you know what, if I actually just did 20 squats a day, that is, 7,000 squats for the year. That would be a really, really good improvement on my current movement levels. And we look in Ikaria and see the way they move, and, unconsciously they are moving, 5 kilometers a day up and down hills, going down to get the groceries, going for a walk to visit friends and family, going to pick some, food out of the garden, whatever it is. But for us, I think it's so important that we just have a goal that feels easy to win, hard to lose, and is a really good way to boost our self-esteem around our movement.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. It's so true. Now, there's people that will think, oh, that's all a little bit simplistic, but it's the maths that got me, Piercy, when you did the maths about how many push-ups as a group we might do, or push-ups as individuals we might do. And obviously, the challenge is to do 60 push-ups a day. It's not to get to 60 push-ups per day. It's to do 60 push-ups per day. And so you can do that in 2 sets of 30 or 3 sets of 20. But the goal is to really challenge your body and to get it there. And you might think that that's not that significant, but in a short space of time, and at this point in time, the 20th of January 2021, as we record this and we're live on Facebook, we've been doing this for just under 30 days. And so we've been working pretty hard, but I'm noticing changes, Piercy, that significant, and I'm noticing it not only from a strength perspective and a physique perspective, but I'm noticing from an energy perspective. I'm noticing it from a well-being perspective. I feel motivated to do it every single day. And I think that the accountability piece in the messenger chat that we've got really, really helps that. Not that I'm feeling at this point in time that I want to slack off, but I'm sure there'll come a time where I go, oh, I've had enough of this. I can't really be bothered. But that accountability piece, where we've got all those other people that are in that little chat, saying 60 done, 30 done, little tick, green tick. And then even, you get buffheads like Ravi Radna and...
who's watching?
Well, I'll say it again. Buffheads like Ravi Radna who think that I'm in the shape of a tippy cup, doing this here and trying to get to 60 and then doing more and doing 80 and then doing 100. And I'm going, hang on a second. Just do what it says so that we don't freak other people out. And I think it's really important that if we set the intention of the challenge, or we set the intention of what the movement is, that's what we say that we've ticked off, because there'll be other people within the challenge that find 60 push-ups really difficult. And there's other people within the challenge who find 60 push-ups is pretty easy because it's just their warm-up, like Marcus Yeo, for example. But what I think is really important for us is to make sure that we do what the challenge sets out for us to achieve, and that is 60 push-ups every single day.
I'd love people listening to this go, well, what's the equivalent for you and 60 push-ups? So for us, look, Damo is a little bit stronger than I am, about, I reckon, 20% stronger than I am. So, but that is good. He's not 200% stronger than I am. And I say that with love, because you don't want to set yourself a challenge and then do it with a friend that's 50 times better than you are at it. So we've got a small group. There's 10 or 12 in there. I don't think you necessarily, unless, some people may differ here, you don't want to do this in a group of 200, because you actually feel almost this personal connection to people in the group. And some of them you don't know, some of them you do know. But for everyone that is listening, what are you doing and what accountability do you have for your movement this year? And is it doing a 1K walk? Is it doing a 1K jog? Is it doing a couple of push-ups? Is it doing some squats? Whatever it is, but the simplicity is the power is in the simplicity.
Yeah, 100%.
If it was 60 push-ups, a 5K run, and a 2K swim, every day, like, it's too complicated. Yeah. Too many factors can influence it. Like, honestly, there are no excuses in our group for 60 push-ups a day. We've already got an injury kind of measure, which can just be to do some isometric holds, which is really doing a 60-second plank.
Well, can we talk about that just for a second? Because you did a push-up challenge a number of years ago, or maybe it was last year, and you had to go up by one push-up every single day from memory.
It got big. Yeah, it got big, yeah.
Yeah, and so you go from doing something that appears to be very, very achievable, just by doing 2 sets of 30 push-ups to get 60 out a day, to, by the time you get to 2 months in, you're doing... I
was doing like 300 push-ups a day.
Yes, and the end result of that was that you sustained an injury.
Yeah, decent. And then I said to the chiro, Margaret Tay, I don't know what's happened. She's like, what have you been doing? I sounded so silly. I was like, just, heaps of push-ups. And she's like, anything else? I was like, no, not really. Maybe like you've just gone a little bit too hard on one thing, you mono obsessed freak. She didn't say that, I did. And it's really, but it's all relative though, because I'm sure there's people listening to this going, oh, well, 60 a day seems a little bit too much for that person listening. So that's why I say, like, you've got to pick an activity and a number or a frequency that is really good for you. And then I would just say, go and find a buddy that is similar, like not 5 times as good, but just a little bit better or a little bit less developed, but not wildly different, because that would make it a bit hard. But find something that you'd both feel excited to check in on. It's a very good for your self-esteem, I think.
Can I say that you could pick anybody, regardless of your form, ability, weight, shape, power, resistance ratios, all that sort of stuff. Just pick anybody or any group and establish a group that holds each other accountable. Now, Piercy, even in doing 30 push-ups 2 times a day or 60 push-ups in a day, you sustained or flared up another injury.
Mm-hmm.
So you got injured again. And tell us about that, because the fixer for that was to not disengage from it, but it was because we had some expert advice within the group. You then learnt that what you could do is still do something that would be good for you, and enable you to heal at the same time.
Yeah, sure. So some people may or may not know, I've got a scoliosis in my spine, and it's round about, somewhere near the chest plate. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, but it's like what I would just define as a weakness within my body. So under stress, if somewhere is going to go, it's this part of the spine. And I was doing push-ups on the beach one day, and I pushed it, and I was really annoyed, because I was like, what's this going to mean? I'm going to lose. I felt like when you hear sports people say it's no fun being in the rehab group because you feel so disconnected from the rest of the group. And it was one of the first times I was like, I really like almost grieved not checking in every day. But then Marcus Yeo, previous guest of 100 Not Out, good friend of ours, says stay in the group and do a 60-second plank. And, it doesn't have to be 60 seconds straight. I think I did 30-30. And that was manageable. And that was so good. And that's why I feel like this accountability is so important, because we all have that in our life, in all areas of our life, where something happens and we disengage from something. So I just think movement is such a point of conjecture in terms of necessity. In our modern culture, movement is seen as a luxury item, and for many people, they see it as a chore. Well, what if it was a conscious choice that you made, and you found someone, like, again, if you want to be a sprinter, I wouldn't go and ask Carl Lewis to be your accountability buddy, because I don't think he's going to care for it in the same way. So I think you need to have
What if he's your
someone
brother?
who's
He might.
invested as you are in them. What's that?
What if he's your brother? He might care.
Oh, yeah, totally. But
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
So you're not
Like,
going to ask a
in our
stranger.
group, there's a lot of care, and people have been personally referred in. So if you went into some group, don't get me wrong, there are some great public groups of thousands of people, and there's a lot of buy-in, and people help out strangers and all the rest of it. But I'm more, what I've enjoyed with our group is the actual exclusivity of it. It's just you and me and spin-offs, personal spin-offs from there. Like, so I just think that's really important because it means you can be vulnerable, like a lot easier, I think, anyway. And it sounds so silly, but it has brought up a lot of what I felt like, certain things I wasn't comfortable with my movement. Like, if I did hurt myself, I probably would have just done nothing for 2 weeks and just said, look, I've got an injury, I'm just going to do nothing. And even I didn't overdo it, but just doing the isometrics was a great thing to still do something, and a bit of swimming as well. So I really just, you and I talk about this all the time, but having a peer group that supports you in any area of life, in this example, movement, is just so key. And if people don't have an outcome, a goal for their movement for 2021, I would highly recommend they come up with one and find someone to do it with.
Agreed. I agreed. Now, here's another thing that's really important to understand is that regardless of what age you are, you're not as young as what you used to be. And the reason why I say that is because as a man, I still feel 18 years old until I'm not. And so the other day on Sunday, I'll say, I will go back a whole week. A whole week ago on Sunday, on the Sunday before Sunday just gone, I was playing tennis with Jean-Claude, who is part of our push-up challenge and has done 0 push-ups. Anyway, I thought that I would go and play tennis with him, so I went and played tennis. And I'm running around the court like I was 18, and I felt great, like I was 18 again, and I was smacking the ball, forehands, beautiful down the line, top spin. He's going, mate, when was the last time you played tennis? I'm going, 10 years ago. He goes, you're incredible. I go, I know, I'm going to go in the Australian Open. And then bang, ping, I pulled a glute muscle, and I was like, oh, gee, that was really sore. I was like, how did you pull a glute muscle? Obviously, I was just feeling a little bit too tight. So I limped off the court after losing 6-4, and I was down 5-3 in the second, and I said to Amber, you need to rub my bum, and she rubbed my bum for me, which was really good, and it fixed. And so I thought, yeah, she's got magic hands. Anyway, I got better, which was good, but just have remained stiff. Anyway, so on Sunday, I said, Jacko, let's go play tennis, because we were staying at my brother-in-law's house, and he's got a tennis court. So I said, let's go out and play tennis. So we went and played tennis, and Jacko's served up some rippers, and he's won the first game. Bang, I've served up some rippers. I've won the second game. And in the third game, he's gone to lob me. I've gone up for a backhand overhead smash. And as I've leapt from the ground, it's gone ping in one of my adductors on my right-hand leg. And so I've pulled an adductor muscle in my leg.
Now, just educate the people that are going, where is your adductor? Outside, inside,
it's in the medial part of your leg. So let's say, for example, this is your leg. And that's your what's going to have to be. This is your pelvis, and then
people are listening.
This is that's right. Well, it goes from your pubic bone to your knee bone, and so your pubic bone to your knee bone, and somewhere in the middle between my pubic bone and the knee bone, there was this tiny little rip that felt like I'd been punched while I was in the middle of the air, in the middle part of my leg, and I went, oh. And Jackson went, oh, I can't believe the ball went in. And I went, oh, no, I've actually hurt myself. And he's gone, oh, no, what have you done? I said, we can't play anymore, Jacko. He goes, oh, no, that's not good. So we walk inside, I ice it up, and been to the physio, and I've got a tear in my adductor longus, which is a muscle that's really important for golf. So that meant that I had to cancel my golf on Monday and I had to cancel my golf today, and I had a competition to play this afternoon and I've had to cancel that, and I may or may not be able to play golf on Friday, and then I've got a competition next Saturday. And so I've got all these golf things happening, and so because I forgot that I wasn't 18, I've now pulled a muscle. The reason why I say that with regards to the push-up challenge is that there's some young guns in our group who still have physiques of 37-year-olds because they're 37. I'm 47. I don't want to be challenged to be doing 120 push-ups or 180 push-ups or 240 push-ups, and I'm limiting myself to make sure that I do about as much as what my body can handle. And at this point in time, I can do 50, let's just say 45 push-ups in a row, and then I've got to take a break, and I'm not going to push it too hard. And it's a good reminder to just go at the pace that you know you can go. This is a long-term game. So we're doing this for 365 days. So we're doing 365 days, 60 push-ups every single day. If you want to do more, that's great.
21,840.
There we go. Yeah. Thanks, PC. 21,840 push-ups as a minimum. If you want to do more, that's fine. But we don't need to be setting each other the challenge to do more. We've just got to hold each other accountable to get what is easy enough to get done, and that's 30 by 2 or 2 by 30, and that's what we've got to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think for people that are thinking, okay, like,
thanks,
all right, what am I going to do this year? Couple of things that I think you just said is really important. One, know your age. Like, yes, you're the same. I still remember Tommy Hafey, episode 2 of 100 Not Out, said he still feels like he's 21 years of age.
Yeah.
God rest your soul, Tommy Hafey, dead set legend.
Legend.
But also, I don't know if it was you telling me this. Like, well, one, know the compound interest of movement. So 60 a day times 365 is 21,840. Now, that's going to overwhelm some people. So 60 a day, that's going to overwhelm some people. 2 sets of 30, that might be overwhelming. 3 sets of 20, if that's still overwhelming. Six sets of 10.
Yes. Or 4 sets of 15.
12 sets of 5 or 4 sets, whatever it is. So you've got to chunk this down to the smallest bite-sized piece that feels really doable. And then also remember your biological age, and don't attempt to be don't attempt to behave like an 18-year-old. Like, I always remember Wang Daishun, China's hottest grandpa, who was on the catwalk, age 79, and we were talking about him. And the day after, we were in the Port Phillip Bay with Don Riddington.
Yes.
You know, and Wang Daishun was like, you know, you can have many careers over and over and over, but as soon as you start telling yourself you're old, you begin to age.
Yes.
And this is so important. Like, don't buy into your age being old, as in old in a negative sense. Like, you can say you're old in a positive sense, as in old, wisdom, experience, you know, resilience, strength, all the rest of it. But if you say I'm too old to do something, you will give yourself no chance to do what it is that you want to do.
Yeah.
But if you do as Damo's talking about, which is to just know your limits and don't try and be a hero in any of your goals, whether it's financial, whether it's physical, spiritual. I mean, if you want to try and set a goal to meditate for 6 hours a day, like, it's like a hero goal. Like, just chunk it down to the smallest bite-sized piece that feels really achievable. And then when that becomes so embedded in your behavior that you want to add it, again, don't try and double it. Add 5% to it. Add 10%. Turn 60 to 61. Turn 61 to 62. And then, as Tommy Hafey taught us, and this is you or someone was telling me this the other day, you will reach a sweet spot. And people do this with money. They find an income level where they go, you know what? I was talking to someone today. It's like, he's he's very wealthy. He's like, I don't want to make $10 million a year. Like, I'm actually really happy making $2 million a year. I don't want to push and work 100-hour weeks and do this and do that. And you're the same with even your career decisions. It's like, I don't want to push. Like, I've gone through that phase of my life. It's time to just to calm your farm. And I think it's really important that people recognize that with their bodies and find the sweet spot. Tommy Hafey stopped at, I think it was 250 push-ups, some number. He didn't go to make it 500. He didn't try and double it. He just, and then he repeated that over and over and over and over again for years.
Yes. And the 60, was it 600 sit-ups from memory, or 100 sit-ups, whatever it was. But then there was the kilometers of running and then the kilometers of swimming. So he's doing all of that sort of stuff, but he found what worked. And then just continue to do that. So he was able to get his body to a particular position or point, And then he maintained that by maintaining that level of exercise, which I think is really important as well. So we might get to a point. Let's say for example, PC, you go, I'm going to step it up to 150 push-ups a day because I can handle it. Obviously, within our challenge, it's 60 push-ups. You're doing, extras. You'll get to a point where 150 or maybe you get to 140 and you go, you know what, 140 is where I feel sweet. And then you'll get your body to a point where that's easy as, and you'll maintain your size and your shape based on that amount of exercise, which will be the same for everybody else, whether it's I'm going to walk for a kilometre every single day, which is 365 kilometres a year, or you might do 2 kilometres or 3 kilometres, it could be walking. If it was Ravi, it might be running. If it's Muzza, it could be swimming. If it's Pete, I'm not too sure. But if we look at everybody else who's watching this, we've got Helen and Debbie and Nicole and Pete and Linda and Julie. Like, all these people here might have a different idea on what it is that they might set for a goal, but find your sweet spot and find someone who's going to hold you accountable to get just the bare minimum done for the whole of the year. So for you, the year might start today, January 2021, and it may then finish on January 20, 2022, so that you've completed the whole year. But make sure you've got someone that actually is with you to ensure that you're doing everything you need to do.
We're going to wrap this up, but the sweet spot for Tommy Hafey was waking up at 5:20, running for 8Ks, 250 push-ups was his sweet spot, and 700 crunches and sit-ups combined, which he did at home whilst Maureen was making breakfast.
Amazing.
So you don't have to, sometimes improvement is actually maintenance. Yeah. Like a continuity goal of doing the same thing over and over again can still very much be growth. And I think that's just really important for people to recognize. Some people feel like they have to just grow and improve by adding every year. That's actually not the case. So this has been really cool, Damo. I'm so glad we've been able to connect and talk about this for longer than 2 moments. So thank you. You've started it, and well done to you. And I really hope for all of our listeners that don't have an ongoing movement outcome for the year, that you do choose something really wise and chunkable and achievable, and experience the benefits of it, whatever it is that you choose to do. So great stuff. To all of our listeners, we love you. We wish you the best 2021 ever. This is going to be a belter. Episode 409 is done in 7 weeks. It is the 8th birthday of 100 Not Out. Can you believe it? Episode 416 is 8 years not out. I dare anyone who's listening to this episode for the first time to go and consume almost 8 years of episodes in a binge. They do it on Netflix. Imagine someone goes, hi guys, I just found you. I've just listened to you on double speed for 4 weeks on 400 odd episodes.
Can you imagine
that? Imagine.
Crazy. Crazy.
We've got some big announcements. I reckon we might make our big announcement on our 8-year anniversary. But we see. Why
don't we just drop a little pebble in the ocean right now and just talk a little bit about it? How about?
Well, I'll drop a perfect pebble. Can I drop it?
Can I suggest that?
It's 2 words. I got 2-word pebble.
Well, all right. So this is going to be on the podcast bit, and then when this live finishes, we'll just talk a little bit about it, a little bit more on Facebook, so that people can actually go to Facebook and see more about it.
All right.
Is that okay?
Yeah, cool. So 2-word pebble is Byron Bay.
Ooh.
That's the pebble.
Wow.
And we'll talk about it more in the Facebook group shortly. This is the COVID, well, touch wood. It's the COVID safe haven of the country. It's pretty much where everyone can come.
Yes.
Ballina Airport, which is just south of Byron, is the most. It used to be a tin shed. Now it's like Tullamarine.
It's now international.
It's the busiest airport.
Yeah.
It's international. They are still flying propeller planes into Ballina, but it is an international level now. All right, folks, to all of our community, we love you. Here's to an incredible 2021. To find out more about the great man, Damien Christoph, head on over to damienchristoff.com. Myself, marcuspierce.com.au. Thank you to Joseph Tomo, our wonderful editor, to everyone who makes this podcast possible. Until next time, folks, as always, continue to make the rest of your life the best of your life.
Bye for now.
Alrighty.
So we've got a crew here. There's a bunch of people watching. on Facebook. And the reason why I want to drop a little pebble in the ocean is because I think it's worth talking about and then letting people know, because people can start to budget this into their time. So what Marcus and I have been working on, obviously we've been running longevity retreats to Icaria, and we were going to Sardinia this year, or last year, but that obviously got postponed. It has been postponed again, and it won't be happening in 2021 because there's...
Oh, I'm going to swim there. I haven't told you that, but I'm so desperate to
Next
go there.
physical challenge. I like it. I like it. That makes me freak out thinking about it just because of the movie The Reef. That's what makes me freak out. So don't even want to think about swimming that far in the ocean. So what we're wanting to do is still run a longevity experience, but we're going to run it in Byron Bay. And
so you're going.
And it'll be an Australian longevity experience. So it'll have the flavors of Icaria because we have an Icarian restaurant that we can eat at and have as our home base. And that Icarian restaurant is based in Byron Bay, and so we'll be able to share stories and introduce
owned by Thea's son's girlfriend's cousin. How's that for Icarian?
That is very Icarian. It's like living in Melbourne, and so it's what we've decided to do is to run this in Byron Bay. It'll be for a shortened period of time because you're not travelling as far, so it's going to be for 7 days. And what we're wanting to do is to assemble a group of people in the same way that we would assemble a group of people that would come with us to Europe or to Japan when we get to Okinawa, in the same sort of way in that we would like you to apply to come to that and then come with us to Byron Bay to experience longevity. From what we've learned, but also from an Indigenous culture perspective, we've got some Indigenous ideas, and we've got some Sardinian ideas and some Icarian ideas that we want to be able to share with you all in a space that's committed to sharing, I suppose, what we've learned about longevity in a way that you can actually go, oh, I could do this at home. And for a lot of people going to Europe, it's actually difficult. Like, it's difficult to get there. It's difficult to take the time off. It's expensive. And of course, this won't be anywhere near as expensive to get to Byron Bay and then to actually, do the event. So we think it's great. We think it's going to be a really good idea. We're looking forward to it. We have picked a date and we'll drop that bomb later on.
We'll tell them now.
Oh, you do want to tell them now?
Yeah, so there's a couple of caveats on this.
All right.
So all of our attendees from Icaria and Sardinia last year haven't been. They obviously get the first dibs. So the way this will work is we've already secured some luxury accommodation in Byron Bay. So whenever we do a longevity experience, it's always authentic to the location. So in Icaria, we stay in the little village of Nas. In Byron Bay, we stay in Byron Bay. It's right on the lighthouse track. I think even the whales will be around at this time of the year, but it's prime real estate of Byron, and it is authentically Byron. But it's May 16 to 22. And we will be letting all of our Icarian and Sardinian attendees know that in the next couple of weeks. But when applications are open, we may only have, and Damo, you may not know this, but we may only have 2 to 4 spaces open for the public because it's a small area. It's not, so that's something that we will only know when all of our Icaria and Sardinia attendees have decided if they are going to come to Byron. So once that's done, once we know, we'll be able to let you know exactly how many spots we have open. But I suppose more than anything, if there's people that are watching this right now and they know I definitely want to be on the waiting list when spots open, then just send us a message, let us know. We can't give you all of the details until we have them all to give you, which will be, again, I am going to see Damien in person in a couple of weeks and we'll record a proper video that explains it all. But more than anything, COVID has allowed us to do what we really thought was probably 3 or 4 years away, and that was to do a local longevity experience. If you know the Blue Zone's philosophy, Byron Bay is the Blue Zone of Australia. It has everything that the longevity lifestyle is about, whether it's being able to travel on foot or by bike and not needing to drive a car, whether it's having an active lifestyle, a community where you can look people in the eye, say hello and expect an answer back, good food, paddock to plate, nose to tail, whatever you like to call it, biodynamics, by the water, all the things that we love about longevity are at our fingertips in Byron. And having lived here for 7 years in April, thankfully, there's a lot of people that I know up here that can only add to the experience. So it's going to be great fun, but we will give you all the exact details and largely a number of available spots when we have them in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
I love it, mate. I love it. I think there'll be a lot of people wanting to get more information. So just hang tight. The information will come. It'll come out on Facebook. It'll come out through the podcast. There'll be ways in which we communicate with you. So just keep your ears to the ground, and we'll let you know. We don't have an email address, I don't think, unless you go to marcus@marcuspearce.com. .au. You could do that, or you could do damien@damienchristoff.com. You just come straight through to us, and then we're happy to give you more information. Our website will be updated, so the application component of that, which is actually on our website at the moment, we'll fix it up because there's a bug in it at the moment, and every other day we get someone from Russia hacking it and sending us their details. I'm pretty sure it's not real, and so we'll fix all that up.
They're coming.
They're coming with Vladimir, and so we'll get all that fixed up.
It's working now. I'm having a look at it now. If people haven't seen our Ikaria videos of what we do, just translate that to Byron Bay, and you'll see what the ethos of the trip is. It's 100, like 100notout.com.
Yeah, just head there and check it all out. But it'd be cool. Anyway, Piercy, let's get on with the rest of the day. It's a beautiful day here in Melbourne. No clouds in the sky, which I'm excited about. It feels very Byron-esque. And I think we're pushing 19 degrees today. No, I'm joking. No, it's like 25 or 26. And Anyway, great to be back with you, Piercy. Loved getting the lives back on again. And thank you, everybody, for joining us on Facebook. There's
always
today.
one. Tammy Driscoll's come on just at the end.
Yeah.
Just as we're about to wrap it up. Tammy,
yes.
Hope you enjoyed it from the beginning.
And Victoria and Ashley, my cousin Ashley, Leah. It's been fantastic that everyone's been watching it, so thank you. All right, mate.
I don't see any of the comments. You're amazing how you get to see it all. I just see people joining. Have we had comments in this episode?
Oh, yeah, heaps.
Oh, it must be on the outside. I've got to get on the inside.
Helen said hello, and it's great to see you both. Hi, guys. We won't talk about it. Marcus from Helen. Welcome back from Linda. Nicole Julie Edwards says, hey, you too. Happy New Year. Peter Leonard says, here I am back from holidays. Debbie Brooks, okay, I'm in. She's going to start doing the push-ups today. Linda Sarone says, inspiring. Peter said, didn't MP do your shoulder last time you did a push-up challenge?
Yep.
Julie Hills then agreed, said, yes, Peter, I remember he got injured. Peter said, finally found MP's weakness. Debs goes, oh, my gosh, you sound like Mike talking about me being injured. Ravs says, how good is running? He just loves to get that in. How funny is he? Ashley gives us a smile. Helen says, great conversation. Pete says, my podcast went for 20 weeks. I didn't know Pete did a podcast.
Yeah, Pete Lennon, new Meta project. Yeah, great.
Wow, there you go.
And I was listening to it the other week, and he asked me about Ikaria. I got all teary bloody listening about Ikaria. Just, gee whiz. Anyway, I'm going to get nostalgic in a minute.
Yeah, totally. All right, cool.
All right.
Catch you later, everyone.
See you, Facebookers. We love you.
Yes, we do. See you later.
See you, folks.
Bye.